Hello, welcome to Talk Sit About. I think you can tell what movie we're going to be discussing today. Schindler's List! That's funny the second time, is it?
It's not as funny the second time round.
It's not as funny the second time round.
No.
It's of course Spider-Man No Way Home, but can we just explain to the viewer at home what has happened in the last half hour?
We've just sat and we've just done the whole thing, and it was so funny and it was so good, and I nearly died.
You nearly died
I
laughing.
laughed so much I nearly actually died, and then it wasn't recording.
Something went wrong with the equipment. So basically what we did is we actually sat and had a conversation with each other. And there's no need for that.
It was awful.
So we're back. So I mentioned Schindler's List, but it's a bit like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to do the same thing again. But it's funny, did you ever watch Community? Or is that boy humour?
That's boy humour.
We'll get into that in another video.
Yeah.
The two characters, Troy and Abed, they did their own Troy and Abed in the morning, like a little show where they sat and sometimes they had guests, but the joke was it wasn't being filmed. They did it every day just because they were quite mental. And that was us.
That fits then.
We are Troy and Abed.
Yeah.
Very diverse as well. Right, anyway, that's by the by. We're here to talk about Spider-Man.
I can remember that because it's not been that long since the last time we spoke, so I haven't forgotten yet why I'm here.
This is good for your age, isn't it?
This is good for my age because I
reinforce.
Yeah, I'll remember all the things that you just told me.
And you'll say them first, so you'll look like you're
So I'll look like I'm some kind of super fan, and you'll look like you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no change there. So, what did you think of Spider-Man No Way Home?
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it.
And you're not a big Spider-Man fan?
I'm not a Spider-Man fan. I'm fairly new to the Marvel experience, so I'm not really into Spider. I mean, I've enjoyed a lot of the Marvel films, but Spider-Man was not one of my favourites, and I actually really enjoyed the movie. Really enjoyed it. It's 2.5 hours long.
Yep.
Which, when your son told me it was 2.5 hours long, I nearly cried, but I didn't. There wasn't a minute where.
It doesn't feel it.
Didn't feel it.
There's no filler. There's no drag at all.
No, I enjoyed every single second I was there.
Because there's a point to everything.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But before we get into that, of the two movies that came out this winter that have that play on nostalgia, that trade on like your memories of past franchise and things like that, there's Ghostbusters Afterlife, and there's this, Spider-Man No Way Home. I was more excited about Ghostbusters. I think because I was a little boy when it came out and all the feelings wrapped up in that and giddy excitement. But whereas I was disappointed by Ghostbusters, loved this. And it's weird because my connection to Spider-Man's an iconic character. Everyone when I was a little boy knew who he was, but he was in comics, there was maybe a cartoon, but
there was no film franchise.
No, it didn't come out till 2003 or something, when I was in my 20s. So it's weird. It's weird that I would be more satisfied and more, because I wasn't a kid. It's like reminiscing back to when I was young and in shape. But no, it was a triumph. It was really good.
I agree. But I went to see Ghostbusters with you as well, as the Spider-Man, and I felt like Ghostbusters could have been so much more than it was. It was just.
And so much shorter.
Yeah, they took full length film and they sort of just spaced it out instead of taking a full length film and squeezing it in. What
I felt with Ghostbusters was it was gratuitous.
Mm-hmm.
They were basically saying, the fans will love this. So it was like boring, cornfield, oh the car, boring, oh the gun, remember the gun, boring, Marshmallow Man. And then 2/3 of the way through the film they went, well, how are we going to end this? And they went, fuck it, let's just do the first film again. Because that's basically what they did.
Yeah.
Just exactly the same baddies and trajectory.
Like I said, the film that you and Gareth did together, it was a gift to the fans. But it was a gift to the fans that could have been done in a trailer.
Yeah, or like a short movie.
There was no new story, there was no major special effects that you went, oh I loved that bit. It just, I think there was 2 bits in the film where I sort of went, oh I loved that, and the rest of it was just empty space.
Yeah.
But the Spider-Man film had me on the edge of my seat all the way through.
Exactly, and we say at this point, there are going to be spoilers. You obviously, if you know something about Spider-Man, you know there's like question, oh, who's going to be in it?
Don't watch this if you've seen the film.
Which you shouldn't really have to say. because why the hell are you clicking on this? You haven't seen the film yet. That's on you. But it's like how you have to put warning may cause drowsiness on the sleeping tablets to accommodate the most stupid among us. Not saying you're not. No.
That one is.
That one is, yeah, you fucking moron. So, yes. This never happened in the first one. We were zinging.
I know.
So I'm tired now.
I'm tired now.
We've
I
said
nearly
it
died.
You nearly
I
died.
nearly died. It was awful.
But Ghostbusters was gratuitous, and although they were thinking, let's do a big crossover event, I mean, they could have just said, here's the baddies, here's the Spider-Man, they're going to fight, boom, finished.
Which is how films used to be.
And that's how most Marvel films are. There's most of the baddies, the baddies in the Marvel movies are very one note. Apart from Thanos, like I said to you, a certain sympathy
No,
with
more
his...
recently, don't you think more recently they're trying to put conscience into Marvel baddies?
Well, historic though, if you look back
Yeah,
to
historically,
the very start,
historically they are the end of level bosses.
I'm evil and I want to fucking take over the world and stuff like that, and it's it's flashback, and in the moment you're going ooh,
very
but then you go. But one of the main things I liked about this, so just to summarise, you must have seen the film anyway, you lunatics, but I'll tell you. At the end of the last Tom Holland film, Spider-Man's identity as Peter Parker is revealed to the world, and it causes problems for him and for his friends, his girlfriend, his aunt. So he goes to Doctor Strange, who I like Benedict Cumberbatch, but he is the blandest. Although he's got the most magical powers, I think he's the blandest of the heroes.
I enjoy it. I like Doctor Strange.
No, he's alright. So he goes to Doctor Strange, says, is there a spell where I can make people forget that I'm Spider-Man? And Doctor Strange is like, oh, okay, I'll do it. But Tom Holland keeps adding caveats. Oh, but not my aunt. Oh, not my girlfriend. And it screws up the spell. It splinters the multiverses. And Dr. Octopus comes through first, and then all the other baddies. And Spider-Man is tasked with tracking them down so that Doctor Strange can send them back where they came from. But they realise that if they put them back where they came from, it's basically a death sentence, because most of these baddies were pulled from just before they died, or just before they were defeated. So Spider-Man doesn't want that on his conscience, so he decides instead he's going to try and help them, like cure them or try and convince them to be better people, which is a new direction, newish direction on that scale. And I think it's nice as well that the baddies had a purpose, they had distinct personalities, there was conflict within and between the baddies, and they weren't one note. They're very human.
You found you could empathise with them to a certain extent. You could empathise with baddies, which is a new thing.
And I've been thinking about this. Okay, I've not been thinking about this. I fucking said it in the last video that was that didn't actually happen. What I like about the Spider-Man baddies is that they're very human, because their evil or misdeeds, whatever, comes from inadequacy, shame, whether it's body shame or to do with things they've done. There's a hollow inside them that power goes into when an accident happens that gives them the super strength or whatever, and that curdles into evil. But because the Lizard Man, Kurt Connor from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, he'd lost his arm, and all the research he did that eventually turned him into a lizard was to fix his arm, but he had a lot of insecurities and a lot of kind of shame and embarrassment to do with that. Green Goblin, your man Norman Osborn, was a frustrated businessman / scientist. No one was taking him seriously. People were going to pull his funding. A little bit of arrogance. He was saying, oh, I'm entitled to this. So that came out when he became the Green Goblin. Then you've got Dr. Octopus, who had like a drive and a desire, like almost a very myopic, I'm a great man and you'll listen to his hubris, and ultimately made his wife die.
None of them were born bad.
No, exactly, but some deficiency in them was amplified when they got their powers.
The ego was on fire
Yes.
when they got a taste of power.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Electro was a sort of very socially awkward person, just wanted to be noticed, felt that the world passed them by, quite a tragic case, and then when he became...
Same thing.
So I'm gonna
I
make
never
you
noticed
pay.
that before about the Spider-Man movies. You're absolutely nailing the head, yeah.
And who's that? Sandman. Sandman, maybe not so typical, doesn't fit that quite so much, but he was a criminal who just wanted to go back to his wife and family. He was on the run. That was one difficulty. Then he's made of sand, which makes it a bit more difficult still. So there's tragedy and there's damage,
Circumstances.
things that Spider-Man obviously thought I can fix, which makes for a more interesting and exciting movie, because it's not just the baddies, kill them. There's more at stake. There's higher stakes. There's more potential for conflict. There's more potential for mixing things up, and I thought it worked really.
It did work really well.
And every one of them had their own story and their part to play. It fit together.
It flowed lovely.
And something else fitted together nicely, and that was, get right into spoilers here, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are both in the movie. And I thought Andrew Garfield played a blinder, because for months and months and months there was part of me that said, of course they're going to be in this movie, there's no way they would get the villains and Sony and Marvel working in partnership. But Andrew Garfield, every time he went in a talk show, would just say, look, do you know, I've got other movies out, even if I was in it, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I'm not in this movie, and it's starting to get me down. I'm saying the same things, I'm talking about Spider-Man, I'm an actor, you know, and he was so convincing that it put doubt. I was like,
Yes,
maybe,
he is. No, he's not. Maybe
maybe
he's
isn't.
not.
But Tobey Maguire, I think maybe because Tobey's not really been. I haven't seen Tobey
No,
Maguire
I
in any
can't think
movies.
of
And
Tobey Maguire being in.
apparently, some dude went up to him in the street and was like,
Hey,
Toby, are
Tobey!
you gonna be in Spider-Man? He's like, well, I couldn't possibly say. Wink, wink. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? I think he was walking about with a picture of Spider-Man at one point. He was sort of like, someone gonna, what am I doing walking past you with a picture of Spider-Man? It's crazy.
I've done nothing for the past, I don't know how many years. Now I'm going to be Spider-Man again. Damn right, you'd milk it.
Exactly.
Whereas, obviously, Andrew Garfield has been in a bit more.
He's had
recently.
a really good career recently. He's been in some good movies.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what happened just before Andrew Garfield.
One of my favourite bits of the film. So we went with Jamie's two small boys, 7 and 5, and you judged it. You had a feeling something was coming. So you said to Christopher, "Do you need a pee now?"
Because the film's really long, and there'd just been a big action sequence, and normally you get like a cam after the storm.
And they had just down to fruit juices at the speed of
Yep.
small children. Gone. So Jamie said, right, Christopher, let's go to the toilet. Well, do you want to go to the toilet? Christopher said, yes. So away you went down, and me and Jack were sat watching, and I'm thinking, it's just about to happen. It's just about to happen. It's just about, and I'm thinking, is he coming back? And then I saw his head coming back along the stairs, and he got nearly to the seats, and then I saw his face turn purple, and then I saw him walk back out again. And you
Christopher's piss had been upgraded to a shit. Much to my consternation, so I had to
frustration. You look raging.
I was gutted. Months and months of build up, and that's like the bit of the film that everyone's looking forward to. And my son, I don't know if your young children are like this, if you've got them, he doesn't like. Jack, my eldest, is very much bish bash bosh, functional, poos out, wiped it, washed my hands, we're ready to go. Christopher's like Christopher, are you finished? I'm almost finished composing the song about pooing that I started writing.
I just made these little men out of toilet paper, I've ripped these shapes. Here we go.
Close to the point of grabbing the poo out of his bum and pulling it like flags out of a magician's hat. Do you know what I mean? Get out of there, fucking hell!
Meanwhile, Jack sat there going, "It's Andrew Garfield, Dad! Tobey Maguire!" You still went there.
I didn't realise I'd missed Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I came in there. You came in like that.
God, I was livid.
You walked past me and went, "I can't believe I fucking missed that!" And I went,
those were my exact words,
yeah. Can't believe I fucking missed that.
But at that point I thought I'd only missed Andrew Garfield, and there was a scene Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield are talking, and I was like, oh thank God it's just Andrew Garfield. Then it cut to Tobey Maguire and I was like, fucking fuck. But do you know, it's funny, there was a moment where Christopher said, "Daddy, I need a poo," I had a little conversation with myself. I thought, can I let my son shit himself in the cinema? I was.
But you didn't. But you didn't. You didn't. You had that conversation, and you walked back out of the cinema with the wee man in tow.
I should have. Maybe it could have been like my.
I could see you coming in like. I was like, what?
That could have been my evil origin story.
That could have been.
Just a career of Spider-Man has to stop me making little boys shit themselves.
You missed one of my favourite parts of the movie. It was very good.
Oh,
the whole cinema went, ooh!
Did they?
Yay! More so
did Christopher when he was
more so for Andrew Garfield than Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire was recent. I know, and I think, I think he's the favourite of people.
Yeah, for good reason. He was
good. But he got a real, hey! Whereas Tobey Maguire was like, it's Tobey Maguire. But yeah, you missed it.
Bless. Well, I went on the internet and people had put shaky handheld footage, so I saw 2 minutes of both of their arrivals, but it wasn't great because one of them was from a Malaysian cinema, and you said there was oohs and ahs. This cinema went absolutely fucking apeshit. I was like, fuck off!
Why were they?
Yeah, they were rubbing their breasts.
Where did they?
Throwing fucking underwear up. I was quite cultural. I need to go and visit.
So what was the YouTube? Oh dear. So
something else I liked about it as well. Tom Holland to this point has been quite a bright and breezy Spider-Man. It's all quips and kind of nothing
He's
bad.
The dunce of the Spider-Man.
Well, not really the dunce, but it's all kind of fun and Disney and hey, whoa, hey man. But because he didn't have the Uncle Ben dying origin story, just like Uncle Ben dying in a way that Spider-Man is maybe not complicit in, but he's indirectly caused his uncle's death because he hasn't dealt with his powers in a responsible way, or he's let arrogance or whatever, and that's a guilt that he has to process and then find a way to incorporate into his superhero-dom. Tom Holland never got that, and I know why, because there've been 3 Spider-Man movies rebooted, Andrew Garfield rebooted, Tom Holland. If they'd trotted out Uncle Ben again, people would have been,
no,
fuck's sake. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Bit like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, precisely.
Why is it no different than the
Correct, it would be the same. So they didn't retread that. So Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, although there was levity, and in fact Andrew Garfield, although his movies aren't held up as the best, there might be an argument to say he's the best Spider. He's certainly the funniest.
Yeah.
If you watched Andrew Garfield movies, there were more moments in both of them that made me laugh out loud because he's really charismatic.
He's physically funny and he's funny.
Yeah,
he's got good timing. Yeah, I agree.
Whereas Tobey Maguire was funny as well, but there's more of an understated, wry kind of. So I like this is instead of Uncle Ben, it's Aunt May. The Green Goblin kills Aunt May after Spider-Man. It's similar to the Uncle Ben thing, but different. The other Spider-Peeps, it was lack of diligence and arrogance that caused Uncle Ben to die indirectly. This time it was in the pursuit of something noble. He decided to let the baddies live to try and help them, but
still
the Green Goblin still his fault. It's still a burden he's got to bear. And his aunt says to him, with great power. So this is his origin story, and this is the darkest that Tom Holland has ever had to go, like to feel the rage and the grief and what I liked about it. This ties in with the baddies weren't superfluous; they all had their part to play. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield served a function because they'd been through that in their movies and they'd reacted with rage. They were in a unique position to help because the third one, Tom Holland manages to get Green Goblin. The others are cured, and he elects. He's so angry about his Aunt May that he punches the Green Goblin in the face. Willem Dafoe, he's great in it, and he's going to kill him with his bare hands. And then Toby and Andrew come in and basically say, We learned the hard way. You know, they coach him, and he,
Literally like two big brothers.
yes, exactly. There is there's
Yeah.
a very
There is a
the
real
bond, the dynamic.
Yeah, there's a real, can't think of the word, but there's a real emphasis on the brotherhood of the three Spider-Men,
Yes.
which was lovely.
It is lovely.
Which I really enjoyed that about it. But yeah,
I loved that. Was probably watching the banter and the jokes.
yeah,
And, it's
that
brotherly.
it was brotherly. It wasn't
Yeah.
just like three random spider peeps.
No, although it was funny when I watched it online when Tobey Maguire came in. One of the Spider-Man's, Tom Holland's friend says, "Oh, it's just some random guy."
Some random guy.
I like that.
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, their inclusion in the movie was wrapped in with it fit with the theme.
Mhm.
It expanded on it. It sort of lended closure. It's not just, they weren't just like, hey, I used to be Spider-Man, like shoot webs.
Yeah.
Everything fit
Yeah.
with Tom Holland's journey and added texture to the original Spider people as well. It was nice how and Tom Holland learns his great power and great responsibility. He learns that sometimes in the commission of being a hero, people will die, even though you're doing the right thing. I mean, the other Spider-Men did the wrong thing, but even when you do the right thing, you will sometimes lose people and the people that you love.
Every
But
decision that you make.
has consequences and ripples, and he learns to come to peace with that, and it doesn't appear to have made him jaded.
Yeah, because that's a theme all the way through the film if you think about it.
It is, of
Yeah.
course. And at the end, exactly.
Yeah.
At the end, they send Tom Holland. Like my gran. What's his name? It's like when your gran.
The wee one!
Your
The
gran
wee
would put all
one!
the names. You know, they're like Tommy, Andrew, Tom.
David, Ian!
So yeah, they send Toby and Andrew back, and all the original 5 villains go back to have a happy ending. But the multiverse is splitting, and there's all these baddies coming through. So Tom Holland says, or Peter Parker says to Doctor Strange, do another spell, make everyone forget I'm Peter Parker. And that's like everyone, including his girlfriend, and you'll be a man alone. But he's using his power responsibly. That's the only way I can make sure they've got a good life, and I save the world. No one's ever going to know. Like, there's no arrogance there.
Yeah.
No one will ever know what he did or how he did it, because no one knows who he is now. And it's
Selfless.
selfless, exactly. He got a real chance to prove his mettle. I really liked that. So, yeah, just the structure, the story, the flow, the visuals were beautiful.
It had
Despite
everything.
the stuff with Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
But even
the splitting when all the other baddies start coming through and the multiverse starts splitting.
Yeah.
The sound effects and the visual effects were amazing there.
Oh,
really
perfect.
amazing.
But-
I mean, I love the Doctor Strange effects anyway. You know, the mirror universe.
And
I
all
love
the
that
colour.
anyway.
Yeah, it's
But
cool.
It was good. The effects were brilliant.
Yeah, they were. And just everything about it fit. I would maybe give it 4 out of 5. Like, it's not, but it stuck with me, and it's resonated, and I enjoyed every minute. It was lovely, and we were talking about this earlier. I wouldn't watch Ghostbusters again.
Yeah, one of the first
Afterlife.
things you said after Ghostbusters Afterlife was I wouldn't want to watch it. I don't have a pull to go and watch it again to see
Yeah.
the bits that I missed because it was so slow. There's not possible that you missed anything really.
Yeah.
But with Spider-Man, me and you, I'm looking forward to watching it again.
Yeah, me too. Because I caught a lot of Easter eggs and references, but whereas Ghostbusters was just Easter eggs and references with like a vague
Yeah,
notion
pure
of the story.
100% nostalgia.
Yeah, but
That's not what this was.
There was little bonus and treats
Yeah.
in there for fans and non-hardcore fans alike.
Yeah.
But it was a great story, and a lot of Marvel movies go, oh, this is happening. It's just to get you to this point where there's a cliffhanger for the next one.
Yeah.
There's not a beginning, middle, and end.
Come back next year.
Yeah, exactly. But this one could work on its own.
Yeah.
You don't really need to watch.
No, if that's where it ended, then it could end where it ended.
Exactly.
But it
It's
could
good.
also, it's exciting that
Mm.
it's going to take another turn.
Well, before we discuss the end bit, I'm paranoid now that this fucking thing is not recording anymore. Oh, it's still recording.
Yay!
We got this one in the can, bitch!
Yay! You're going to go home. Held prisoner here now for how many days?
Would you have done it a third
videos?
time?
No.
Really?
No, I wouldn't have
So it
done
would just
that
be me
time.
going to camera going,
Yeah, I'd
yeah,
have
it's
sat
good.
here.
Go and
I'd have
see it.
sat here and gone, yeah.
We'd just be like, So what did you think of Spider-Man then? Oh, it was alright. Did you like when Andrew Garfield? Oh, nice. Wiggy Boy had to go for a shit. Oh, it was pretty
He
good.
paid for my ticket to go, and now I know why.
I'm going
to make you work for your money. 3 times we're going to sit here and talk about the same shit. You're not going to kill me at the end of this one.
Well, let's see, because we're about to talk about your second favourite part of the movie.
My second favourite part of the movie. Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. So at the end of the movies, Jamie lets the 2 kids go down in the pit, which isn't a pit anymore, but it's between the
big empty space between
the front seats, and they dance. They dance when the credits are on, which is adorable. I mean, honestly, it is cute. The first time they did it, I was. So they're dancing away, and we'd had the kids between us, so there was me on the end of the aisle, and then the 2 empty seats, and then my brother sat there. And what are they called again? I've forgotten. The
mid-credit scene.
Mid-credit scene. So the mid-credit scene comes on in the middle.
Well, let's do a bit of context first. The kids were dancing about down the front. They switched, like they dropped, and they were wrestling on the floor. So if no one had been paying attention to them going down there, they wouldn't have known that there were children.
Grappling.
I knew they were there, but you couldn't. They were below the parapet, so you couldn't. See them.
Nobody could see that they were there. They were grappling on the floor. I hadn't even noticed, to be honest, because then the lights had come up as they do at the end of credits, and we're right at the front. We're the first people in the cinema, and in the mid-credit, whatever.
Tom Hardy's there.
Tom Hardy's there, and you can. It's Venom.
Yeah, because at the end of Let There Be Carnage, in the mid-credit scene there, they drift over into Tom Holland's Spider-Man universe. So they're sitting having cocktails in a bar, and I really wanted the kids. They were like making a bit of noise.
They just watched Venom, hadn't they? They just.
So I wanted them to see it.
But I knew nothing of this. I'm just busy watching the things, and my brother goes, Venom! Venom! And it goes, everyone behind can't see that there's 2 kids grappling at the front. All you can see is me sat on one end of the seats and Jamie in the middle, a 41-year-old man, all on his own, going, Venom!
An enthusiastic lunatic. But the thing is, I was annoyed at them because they were missing it, so I was saying it.
I didn't know any of this.
Venom! Venom! That's how I did it.
This is how I died the last. I said, you just looked like some proper weirdo who'd come to the cinema on his own. I got really excited.
End credits!
Julia Roberts!
Yeah, that's funny.
That's what killed me.
That's what killed you. I was saying we'll go to other movies.
Yeah.
Just random movies.
We're going to go, every movie we go to from now on, we're just going to shout out.
Emma Watson! Emma Watson! Just I'll set my own.
We'll plan it so that when titles are coming up, going, there's an empty seat over there, and we'll just put you there and let you go. Venom!
It'd be funny if I shout out just like Sense and Sensibility or something.
Man, I was sat there going, oh my god, and I don't think you realised until I started laughing in the cinema, because I just went, oh my god, this is so embarrassing.
Because I thought this mid-credit scene with Tom Hardy isn't that funny, and then I went outside myself and I was like, oh dear.
That's why.
Oh dear.
I was sat all on my own going, Venom! Venom! He really likes Venom.
there, I know it's
he
Venom.
He really likes Venom.
Okay.
Oh man, I laughed all the way home. I laughed all the way to my home.
It was good.
So funny. And meanwhile, the kids were still grappling on the floor. And
yes, they were.
Yeah, they didn't care about Venom. They didn't care about Venom. I didn't.
No.
They ignored
Not
Jazz.
as much as I did.
They ignored Jazz per usual. Venom!
But the last time we did this, I can't remember what my part in shot was.
I can't remember.
You were drinking
I was
tea.
after taking a drink of tea, and all of a sudden,
I made you laugh.
He made me laugh, and I thought, what am I going to do? So I decided. I thought, what are you going to do? Breathe it in.
You genuinely almost quite worried. I kept the camera rolling though.
I just couldn't. I thought rather than spit it out or explode it in your face, I just breathed it in to my lungs. And nearly died.
You nearly
and
died.
Unfortunately, it wasn't
we
on
never
camera.
caught it.
One of these days I'll die on camera for you, I promise.
Oh, thank you. That's really sweet.
That's
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So yeah, just to wrap up, Allie's favourite parts of the movie weren't really in the movie at all. It was when I missed the best bit, and then when I looked like a grade A fucking lunatic sitting in the cinema. But we both liked it.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Worth. It felt like more than a Marvel film. Because it was different.
There's just Marvel films just seem to be getting better and better and better at the minute.
Well, see, I've got Marvel fatigue. I haven't seen Black Widow. I haven't seen the
seen
Eternals. I haven't seen
Black Widow's brilliant.
Tai Chi. Shang-Chi and the
No, I've
Rings
started
of...
watching that. I didn't like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You don't have to
yeah.
whisper it. Do you think people will think you're racist? 'Cause you don't like it? She doesn't like Chinese people. Yeah, I think they're all become... I will watch it one day, but I had no burning desire.
Black
That
Widow's
one,
brilliant though.
Yeah.
It's really good. But I'll take you to the cinema. Black Widow!
What did you shout?
Black Widow.
Oh, I thought you shouted Burt Reynolds. I was like, she's
Do
dead.
that.
Burt Reynolds.
What's that for Widow? We'll do that one for Widow. What's next?
Julia
Julia Roberts!
Margaret Jones! No, no,
Julia!
it's difficult to pronounce. Julia. So, is there anything that we missed out from
Probably.
the first run?
Probably, but there's
saying
no,
the
there's
stuff
no, there's no
about-
evidence of it anyway, so we'll never know.
Exactly. Our memory's been wiped just like...
I just had to sit here and talk to you for half an hour with
Twice.
no reason. No, this time there's a
Sucks,
reason,
doesn't
but the
it?
first time there's just no reason.
Oh no.
No reason.
Well, thanks for that.
That was a good film. Thank you for taking me. I really
That was
enjoyed
a
it.
good film. Thank you for coming and thank you for talking to me about it twice.
That's all right. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
go and see it again if you haven't already seen it. Well,
And if
let me just-
anybody wants to come and sit here
Oh, yeah.
with Jamie,
It's
and
me.
because it's always me, because I'm his sister.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to come, if anybody knows something about movies more than me, which would be everybody,
yeah.
give them a shout out.
Yeah, you can come and sit here.
Talk about movies.
There's lots of perks, like you'll get paid absolutely fuck all.
That's where I
That's what made you choke. That's what
made me
almost
choke.
killed you.
That's what almost.
That's funny to say.
Yeah.
And you'll be watched by at least 3 people. So
Maybe.
Don't-
No guarantee. 1, 2, 3. No, yeah, if you watch yourself.
I'll watch it 3 times.
Oh, right, there you go. Yeah.
So yeah, and please do subscribe. And I think that's all from us.
I think that's all from
So
us.
it's good night from me and.
Good night from him.
Oh god, it's not recording.
You're joking.
Yeah.
Oh, you shit it. Oh.